Yeah, he said, what did you say then? All lies, of course. Not true at all. I'm going to talk to you about affiliate pounce. And it's going to speak to the people who are either brand new or already have something in play and would like to just get a few ideas just to add to what you have. So I'm pretty sure there's something for everybody here. Okay, before we do that, I just want to talk about you now and you in the future. I think it's really important that coming to something like this, you make a little note about what it is you're trying to achieve over this weekend. I found that a very handy technique. So you should write something down, what you'd like to achieve, so that you hold yourself accountable for it. Throughout my presentation, if you'd like me to divulge some sneaky tips, I'm happy for you to shout out, tell us a sneaky tip. Can we practice? Oh, that was lame. Has Brad worn you out with the whole stand up, sit down thing? So let's try that again. Okay, good. This is something vitally important. There's nothing so useless as doing efficiently that which should not be done at all. Who feels sometimes that there's a lot to take in this internet marketing thing? I'd like to show me your hand if you feel at times overwhelmed. Yeah, have a look around there. So what I decided is I'm really going to have to focus on just the most important things and just allow myself to let go of some of the things that aren't vitally important. So who am I? I had an illustrious start with my full-time career in debt collection. So I had to ring up people and ask for money. It's sort of like sales, except they already have the product, so it's just a little bit harder. And I did so well at that I got to graduate into repossession. So I would have to drag someone's car down the driveway. There'd be like 8, 10-foot Tongans there waving their car goodbye. And at the tender age of 19 or 20, I started to learn a little bit about human behaviour and how not to really upset people. I was threatened with a gun, I was threatened with a knife, and I started to get pretty sneaky. And I guess that's when I started realising there's a few ways to do things. There's the traditional way and then the more subtle way. So then I'd just start to pinch the car when they weren't looking. That was more effective. Then I found my way into administration, which was necessary but boring, and then finance, and then sales, and then management. So my last role, I used to run Mercedes-Benz dealerships, and they had $50 million a year in sales and 71 staff. So it was quite a responsible job. And I learned some great skills, but I really wanted to be an entrepreneur. Who would like to tell me if they would like to be an entrepreneur? I'd like to see who is an entrepreneur right now, show of hands. So we have an entrepreneurial group here. This should resonate with you. When I started, of course, you may feel a little bit familiar with this, I had no list, no experience, no contacts, no website, no product, and a low budget. So I had everything going for me in the internet marketing. Of course, I couldn't afford stompernet at the time. So when I started online in late 2005, so I'm not one of these 10-year veterans, I'm sort of a relative newcomer. Of course, I went spectacularly. By 2006, my wife would ask, "Are we rich yet?" She would remind me that I spent a lot of time on that computer and there better be some payoff at some point. I think she was just trying to protect me. And in 2008, I informed my boss I no longer required his services, which, thank you. And that was something because I was already on around a $300,000 a year salary and had great benefits. So you're probably wondering, how I turned my old desk into an office like this. And, this is our board meeting at home out on the deck. That's our winter, by the way. I joined a biker gang. So what happened? Essentially, I'd learned all the little bits and pieces I needed to be able to put together things very fast. And again, it's just doing the right things. So not being perfect at everything. I don't necessarily have a rocket science understanding of everything. I don't even know what some of the things are or how they work, but I just know how to put them together. So I'm going to sort of highlight some of those things. I was inspired by John Reese. I'd figured when he made that $1 million day, that was what started me in the thing. And then I just like Brad mentioned before, through that Maverick group, I managed to hang out with people who were making 6 figures a month and working remotely from home. You probably recognize some of these people. And also I learnt lessons like to automate things and to charge once and then get paid over and over again with the membership model. And then I hung around with this troublemaker here who has got some interesting insights and thinks on a large scale. So they push the limit. In fact, this guy here, Eamon, Brad mentioned, we did his product launch and he was making up to $100,000 a day. So that really pushed my perception of how successful I was or wasn't at the time. And this is that group from Mexico. So there's a bunch of millionaires there. But the tip here is you have to mastermind. If you really want to stretch, and you can write this down if it's important, but you must mastermind. And if you're sitting next to someone who you don't know today, there's a good chance they're probably a millionaire and they probably know something better than what you do right now. And if you're open to that possibility, and if they have an accent or they're one of those people that traveled to get here, there's a high chance that they're very, very serious about growing their entrepreneurial business. Do we agree? So I know for a fact that there's several millionaires here visiting from Australia. So if they have a funny accent, then you should get to know them. So I did my investigation. I've travelled over here a lot to the point where customs are starting to give me attitude now. They ask me for my business card. I don't have one. They ask me what I do. I'm an internet marketer. They think that coming to a few conferences is way too many. It just shows, I don't know if it's just the United States, but I think maybe all customs officers are assholes. Maybe, I'm not sure. And I've spent a lot of time in forums and memberships and seminars and information products, just sifting it all out. So I'm just going to give you the short version. But I do have a map and a system. Don't try and write this down, but I pretty much put my whole business on one page. And the part that I want to talk about today is the affiliate part. And my business model is pretty straightforward, and I'm going to step you through that with your permission. So this is the other me. This is the me you never see. This is the bit lurking beneath the iceberg there. So the underground marketer part of me is going to share some sneaky tips with you today. I'm also breeding a family of underground marketers. This is us in Disneyland during the recession. And you're probably wondering, okay, what the heck is affiliate pounce? Essentially, we're going to catch a big wave and just ride it to the shore. It's much harder to create a wave than to find one that's already out there, true? So a lot of what you've been told is to look for demand in the market, make sure people are already buying, and then try and sell that stuff. So that was one of the big fundamental shifts, was I stopped trying to come up with ideas, I stopped trying to invent the wheel, and I started looking for the perfect surf just to hop my little website on and grab the traffic. So we're essentially exploiting product launches. Most of you have seen the odd product launch in the internet marketing space. The great thing about it is we're building a list of buyers, and that's the big difference between just building a list of freebie seekers, is we're building a list of buyers. People who buy these product launch products are usually investing a minimum of a few $100s right through to a few $1,000s. So what we do is we pretty much become a parasite, and we take that customer and we make awesome commissions. And we get to build relationships. And I want to touch on that in a little more detail. So the short story. We research the product launches. The places where I find out about it, I'll read it out for you just in case it's too small. I keep a good eye on IM Newswatch, which gives a sort of update of what's happening in the marketplace. You can have a look at JV Notify Pro, and you can keep an eye on the forum products selection reviews, because people start to anticipate products, and other people who do this technique are also starting to put out their feelers and starting to grab customers. So you'll know when a product's coming if you look at these sources. And then what you do is you create valuable bonus products. And it's no coincidence that the people who top the JV lists and the people who sell the most affiliate sales in all of the competitions are also product owners. Have you noticed that trend? So if you have a product, then you have buyers, and if you have buyers,